I tend to wonder, what is it exactly that compels people towards adventure? Fame? Necessity? Maybe a combination of both, perhaps? Well, for me, I'd say curiosity. And that curiosity has led me to wonder, how is our fair city holding up amidst the pandemic the world finds itself in? What becomes of the entertainment capital of the world when there's no one to entertain? With camera in hand, I decide to go out and capture those answers.
Am I taking this exit right here?
Correct, yes. In 2018, the United States Census Bureau estimated that over 644,000 people call Las Vegas home. Of the 644,000, it is estimated that 15.5% of that population finds employment through accommodation and food services that the Strip provides, or as we locals like to call it, the industry. Working with these figures, this means that roughly 46,000 men and women who work in the industry have either been furloughed or released due to COVID-19. If we also factor the second biggest source of employment for the city, which is retail trade at 11.8%, in total we are looking at around 81,000 people within the city who could find themselves possibly unemployed. To my surprise, my adventure was greeted by the sounds of nature. I've heard stories that in certain parts of the world, nature seems to be taking back what's hers. I could only imagine how much more she'd take back, the longer we'd have to live our lives like this. The route was simple enough. Start south on Tropicana and make it up north to the Fashion Show Mall on Spring Mountain. Despite the notions of quarantine, I wasn't the only local who was curious as to what an empty Las Vegas Strip would look like. Felt good. I'd tell myself that social distancing doesn't mean staying inside. Well, at least that's the excuse I'd give myself anyways to get out of the house. Glad I'm not the only one on that one. Speaking of not being the only one, the dude on the board is my good friend Suave. Like me, he also wanted in on capturing this version of Vegas during these times. Although the Strip was mostly silent, the fine men and women of Vegas Metro would still have their work cut out for them. We eventually get to the Aria, with the winds from that evening cutting through its dizzying architecture. At that moment, I couldn't help but wonder if this is what the end of the world would sound like. What's up? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's like, leave it there, I want it. I saw it in his eyes. I would too, shoot. I know, man. All throughout the Strip, signs and even casino buildings once advertising shows and events instead now show support and love for its city during these difficult times. you imagine, man, like, how many people would be on here right now if this wasn't popping off, you know? Like, it'd be, like, congested, like, no, people would have a hard time, like, you know? People would be like, oh, pardon me, excuse me, get out of the way. I'm surprised the elevators are still working. A lot of the escalators are shut down, though. I couldn't help but think to myself, with an empty Las Vegas Strip, it's relatively easy now to simply just stand in awe at the design and architecture of its buildings. And it's a bit eerie too at the same time. Looking through the glass-tinted windows to see emptiness on the other side, I kept wondering to myself, which episode of The Twilight Zone did I end up fumbling into? And when the hell exactly will I be waking up? Speaking of the emptiness, Las Vegas's lifeblood hinders on its billion-dollar tourism industry. Last year alone, it was estimated from the Las Vegas Conventions and Visitors Authority that revenue combined from conventions and gaming was around $1.7 billion. And with the acquisition of the Raiders, Las Vegas was expected to grow even further into 2020. Now?
New numbers showing another hard hit for our state's gaming industry during the pandemic. Nevada gaming companies report a nearly 40% drop in gaming revenue compared to the same time last year. Near the Strip, numbers are down nearly 46%. In total, Nevada casinos raked in more than $600 million in gaming revenue last month, much lower than usual due to COVID-19.
Just like anywhere else in the nation, thousands of Las Vegas residents are eager to return back to the workforce to provide for their families and loved ones. Although the industry provides the revenue that has helped the city flourish over the years, a lot of consideration has to be taken within regards to reopening.
Are you doing anything on testing and contact tracing? Because in order to open businesses, every scientist says that is essential.
I don't have that.
You're the one saying you'll all be fine. What we're saying is testing and contact.
You're putting words in my mouth. I said, open up Las Vegas.
Hasn't it been because of social distancing that the numbers have been what they are?
How do you know until we have a control group? We offer to be a control group. Anybody who knows anything about statistics knows that, for instance, you have a vaccine.
You're offering
the
citizens of Las Vegas to be a control group to see if your theory on social distancing works or doesn't work.
Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Don't put words in my mouth.
You just said we'll be a control.
All right, that's enough. Although I understand what Mayor Goodman's intentions are, further testing and ensuring that the well-being of its residents should be top priority. Even if the city decides to reopen fairly soon, who is it exactly that it will cater to while the rest of the world remains locked down? Where exactly is the revenue to be had at that point?
Joining me now, the governor of Nevada, Steve Sisolak. Governor, thanks for being with us. I'm just wondering what you make of the push by the mayor, who has no responsibility or say over when the casinos actually open, that saying that it should open now and that there was no disease in Las Vegas.
Well, Anderson, I appreciate you having me on and allowing me to respond to some of what she said. We are clearly not ready to open.
In context.
During the Great Recession, which started at the end of 2007 and lasted through June of 2008, the recovery for Las Vegas took some time. But after 9/11, we bounced back a lot faster.
We were really doing pretty well about 6 months after that, and within a year after 9/11, our economy was really kind of heading back in the right direction.
The expectation now?
That we're going to spend about 60 to 90 days kind of along the bottom, and that the recovery cycle is somewhere between 18 and 36 months for us.
18 to 36 months. Although those estimates are projected for the full recovery of the city, many Las Vegas residents remain hopeful and optimistic, finding this the opportune time to let one's creativity flourish.
My brother, we're both born and raised here, but he lives up in Portland now, and he hit me up the other night. He's like, bro, I'm a motorsports photographer. I shoot mainly off-road racing, right? So I shoot all in the fucking daytime. Did it?
Yeah.
He's like, bro, you got to go down and get me fucking. It'll never happen again. Give me
I know,
some
it's like,
pictures of that
yeah,
shit.
dude, it's only like a once in a lifetime type deal, you know?
I might as well come down here tonight before it gets all crazy again and packed up. I was down here the other day, actually, to kind of scope out. Just keep your eyes peeled. I haven't seen him snipe. There's a fucking kid that rides around a skateboard. He's got a fucking metal bar hanging out of the top of his backpack.
Really?
He fucking stalked me out, dude, for like 20 minutes. Like, nice camera, bro. I got a fucking pistol in my pocket, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I was good, but there was a whole bunch of, there were some dudes up on the bridge up there doing a photo shoot of a bunch of girls and shit.
Yeah.
So I just kind of dipped up there and blended in with them, so I wasn't by myself. You
Yeah,
dig?
no.
But other than that, it was cool though. But yeah, that dude's kind of a fucking. He's a little white kid, bro. Crackhead fucker, you could tell, man. But
yeah, man, you got all cast of characters down on the strip right now. It's crazy because it's all locals too. So
yeah, no, totally. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go down and hit it tonight, man, just in case this soft opening goes through and it starts to pack up. And
yeah, we won't regret it though. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
We came across many locals enjoying themselves as well too that evening, experiencing moments that, once things return back to a state of normality, they may never experience again in their lifetimes.
Have fun,
Well,
there you go.
One could hope at least.
Somebody's gonna act like they're getting like straight arrested.
Oh yeah.
Steps. Oh man. It's all good, brother. It's all good. Yo, that's crazy. Look how it's like boarded up, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like zombies about to attack. Walking Dead. Approaching the end, I was both satisfied yet also finding new questions for myself. Questions of what the new normality will look like for our city, and satisfaction in seeing its citizens faring well and making the best from our current circumstances. Later, brother. Till next time. For me, I surprisingly found much resolve that evening in venturing out for answers. Being out there, camera in hand, I felt whole and back in my element. Who knows exactly where the chips may fall in the next few months, but having been out alongside fellow locals has shown me how Vegas strong our community really is. So, until then, Vegas, shine bright. Furloughed as fuck.